Hi, my name's Ian and welcome to the channel. If you've not been here before and you have been here before, then welcome back. In this video we're going to be changing the handbrake cables on a Mark 7 rear-wheel drive transit van. So that's the offside rear and the near side rear parts of the cable. The middle section, which is like a long rod, that's not being changed, so it's just the back bits. But we'll jump into the video anyway. So today's task is to change the handbrake cables at the lower end. The handbrake itself, the cable itself should I say, is split into three sections, but we're going to be replacing the two at the back here. And this one, if I try and work it out, you can see here it's absolutely cacked. There's water all getting inside it. When you release the handbrake, it's not releasing properly down here. This section here is only sort of releasing to about there rather than all the way back as it is now. The one on the other side I thought was okay, but then when I did the job the other day of changing these U-bolts, I realised that one on the other side was splitting as well, so we're going to be doing them both. But as with all these things, the weather was beautiful this morning. The weather forecast says it's not going to rain till about 5 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock at the moment and it's just started raining. So once the first job we're going to be doing is this section here. Need to undo these bolts here, which will then release the two cables here. I'm not quite sure at the moment which way they come round. It might be that we have to pull it out that way. I'm not quite sure it goes that way. Not quite sure at the moment. But then this one here comes over the top of the heat shield, and then just up here, and my fingers pointing, we see it there. There is a 10mm bolt we need to undo there, which holds this spring section in place. So we shall get all that released. I've actually sprayed some RWD 40 on there as well, just to try and help it along. And then once we've done this side, once we've got that off and everything a bit more released, I shall come back to you. Right, that's now the main rod now separated from the two cables. Now I think what I need to do is in a minute is give this a bit of a squeeze, and I think it goes in that way, pushes backwards, and then we feed the thing back out, and then when we get to here is to squeeze this in. Well, I should be able to release this in a minute off of here. I should be, with a bit of luck, I should be able to pull that down that way, get it unhooked off of here. It's probably a bit stiff in there at the moment, but I should be able to give it a bit of a shove and a bit of a pull in a minute, get that through, get it unhooked from there, squeeze this thing, so that cable should go that way, and then the bit from the other end should come back towards me. Well, that's the plan anyway. Yeah, what I've just done is I've just, because obviously it's all released at the other end, I've just got a pair of mole grips, just gave it a good old pull, which has then released plenty of this cable out to get that unhooked from here. And then what I've just done with a pair of grips is I've just given that little bit of a squeeze, got a flat blade screwdriver on the other side of this, and now that should just pull out. There we go. So that's it released from this end, and then basically at the other end I've got to do exactly the same thing. So excuse the camera angles, whatever else it is. So the right hand one is this bottom one here. So that'll be a case of giving it a squeeze. I'm trying to do this one-handed now, which probably isn't helping. I think I need to get the grips over the top. So basically give that a squeeze. Oops, fucking exhaust pipe is in the way. It's not going to be easy to do, so, but let's get it like that. Give that a squeeze. I think I'm going to have to do it with two hands actually. Squeeze it from this side and get the screwdriver on the other side there. Yes, apologies for that. Well, that's the odd one out now, and you can see the reason why it's been fouling. It's all absolutely knackered down there. I'm surprised there's been water getting in, and that and it's not releasing correctly. So yeah, let's get the new one out and just check to make sure it's looks the same. So that's our new one. The weird thing was, when I bought these off eBay, you actually say whether you want the offside one or the near side one. So I ordered the offside for this side, and then when I wanted to order the one for the left hand side, I ordered the near side. But in reality they're both exactly the same. But the weird thing is that the one for the offside cost me £13.78 from the same seller, and £12.19 for the one on the near side. both the same seller, which was really quite weird. But as I said, it's exactly the same part number, a lot. So the one I've got is Borg & Beck one, and if you look on there, it says brake cable. Oh, actually no, tell a lie, I'm completely talking nuts here. So that one says BBK3108, and that one says BBK3107. So there must be a difference between them. So I better check the other one just to see what the difference is. Yeah, so just having a quick look now. So the BB3108 is the one for the offside, because I know it's the spring that's on here. That's exactly the same shape as the one I've just taken off on the offside of the vehicle. And then if you look over here to BB3107, the spring is a completely different shape, which I know that's how it fits on the near side of the vehicle. So yeah, I was completely wrong that they are slightly different. But why there's over £1.50 difference in price between them, who knows? But anyway, that's what it is. Let's get it fitted. So these are slightly different to the other ones, which had plastic fittings that went through here. But basically, I've not fitted it up properly yet. So obviously, I've just routed it through into more or less where it needs to go. Obviously, there's movement in backwards and forwards there. So obviously, this will need to clip over here. So she'll do that now. So we'll just get that over the top. It's going to stay in there and then go back. Again, it's a two-handed job. Not more of these things. What's that not going over there? Just get a bit more cable out. That might help it. There we go. Get there in the end. So trying to film this stuff and then do it at the same time is not easy. So yeah, so basically hook that onto there. As I said, I'll get that pushed in a minute and clipped in. So that's just on some like spring things. It looks like once you get them in there, they don't come back out again. So I need to make sure it's right. The other thing which is important with this one is to make sure it's routed correctly over the top of the exhaust heat shield. So I need to do a little something. Oh, I see. It needs to fit in there, doesn't it? Then basically, then you've got your spring clip, which will go in there, and then that has this 10mm nuts, which will go back in. I think it's going in the right place. I can't quite see to see whether I'm in the right place here or not at the moment. Oh no, just slightly adjusting. So yeah, basically that needs pushing around a little bit, clipping in. In the right place. There you go, you can see there now. So that'll basically, there's a hole just about where my finger is. I need to get the screw in there, and then I've then routed it over the top of the heat shield, and then that comes round to here, and then obviously that will push back in that hole there. So basically I'm going to leave that as it is for now, and then I'm going to probably make a start on the other one in a minute and then get all that clipped in position. But then again, I might just get it fitted to this point here and then leave it with these hanging out. Then we can just get the bar on there later, thinking about it. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, that's the driver's side one, or the offside, all back in now. What I've actually done is a little bit of a sort of future-proofing exercise, is where this clip comes up over here and holds it in place. Obviously that's where it wore through before, so what I've done is I've wrapped a little bit of insulating tape around the outside of it, just to give it a bit of extra meat there as well, to stop on the vibrations. But if you've watched the previous video that I did with regards to these U-bolts, this whole thing was all shaky and loose in that, so obviously with it all shaking about all over that, that's probably another reason why it all wore loose as well over time. But right, I shall get the wheel back on this side, get the van jacked up and do the opposite one. Right, now I've got the other one off, all jacked up now. Axle stand underneath, and just got a jack just underneath here just to be on the safe side. I'm on a tiny bit of a slope here, so I just want to make sure it's not going to go anywhere, because obviously I've not got the handbrake on at the moment, so we're all chopped up at the front. So the only difference with this one is obviously we haven't got the heat shield in the way, and then where the spring fits is just up here. So you can make that out when that fits to there. Yeah, so I need to undo that bolt that holds that spring in place. We've already released obviously the other end there, well where the main handbrake cables comes in. So I just need to squeeze the upper section of where this cable goes in, should I say, and then get it all released in out, and then swap it around for the new one. Actually, I realised I was pointing the camera in completely the wrong direction a minute ago, so I don't think you can make out where the spring fits in. I can't reach across out there from where I'm sitting. There should be a nut up there to undo that spring. I don't think there's a better view of where it is, but yeah, it's just on that cross member over there. That's the odd one all back out now. That's over there. Yeah, I'm glad as I said, when I looked at it the other day when I was doing the U-bolts, this was all split down here, so I quickly taped it up just as a temporary thing. But as I said, for the likes of what's it, £12 and 15p or something like that, I think it was, it's really a no-brainer to do it. But I must say that one was a bit more of a pig to get out, especially at the end where it fits through the chassis to where it then connects up to the other part of the handbrake. But yeah, we got there in the end with it, so yeah, we've got the new one ready to go, so start feeding that through. The one thing I have had to do with regards to this new cable, especially with these barbs that stick out here, they're obviously they're different to the original one, which had plastic, sort of like a barb on it on either side. I had to get a pair of grips and just give it a bit of a squeeze in, just so it would get through this hole, because there was just no way of just trying to, when you're pushing it in like that. I even tried knocking it in, you know, getting like a chisel on the end there and just knocking it in. It wasn't having it, so I just gave it a little bit of a squeeze with a pair of grips, and then it went in. With the top one, it was absolutely impossible to bring it through with the barbs still attached to it. So what I had to do, I had to take the barbs off, which I've got in my hand here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them backwards a bit, and then squeeze the thing back over the top of that, because it comes through the chassis and there's absolutely no way you can get any purchase on it to knock it through at all. So yeah, if you could doing that, it just splits anyway. It's just got a gap in there, so whether they're designed to come off, I don't know, but I'm just going to splay the barbs back a bit further and then clip it back on and give it a good squeeze in. So now what I've done is I've splayed the barbs back a bit, so hopefully that's going to give him, shorten it down a bit, so I can then just spread it out over the top of where that little split is there, and get it over the top of the cable. Might just have to open it up a little bit more than what it is at the moment, and then hopefully get it on. It's perfectly truthful, even if I don't get it on, I don't really think it's going anywhere, but we'll have a go anyway. So basically what I've done is I've now opened it up, so it's actually sitting over the top of it, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a pair of grips and give it a good old squeeze in there, and that'll stop it then from moving backwards. Yeah, that's got that top one on there now. This bottom one here, and that's, you know, that's spring loaded, so that's not going to go in there to pull back through again. But so this one here, the top there, just could not get it through at all. So yeah, that's not going to push back there now. It's pushing as hard as I can, and that's fine. Right, next thing to do is we need to refix or reposition this back onto here. So that's the cables located back through. They go through some little holes there. Just put it at an angle, then pull it back straight, and they're in then. So there we now need to find the bar, which is I'm loading on at the moment. It's not good at it, and that'll obviously go back through. Might be a bit of jiggery pokery to get this back through, but it's been fixed. But I just need to pull a bit. Yeah, I did pull a bit harder. That's what it is. Try a bit harder there. That's what you need to do. That's through there now. Yeah. Rusty my mouth, and then there's two bolts to go on there, so you run one up first and then the other one's a locking bolt, but obviously we'll need to be having to play with that to get the handbrake cable adjusted correctly. So yeah, so we've got the other spring in, that's all back in there now. Just need to double check at the other end that everything's all back in there properly, which I think it is, and yeah, start then tightening all this lot back up. So that's the main nut on, and the handbrake's been adjusted. Then I put the lock nut on there now. So with regards to the handbrake adjustment, is just obviously get it so far, just check that it's not binding on the when you're sort of adjusting it, that it's not binding on the disc, and yeah, obviously just make sure your van stops. Well, I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please give it a like, and also consider subscribing to the channel as well while you're at it. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll see you again in the next one. Cheers.